Hey guys, what's going on? Let me get this adjusted just a little bit. I kind of like setting the phone up like this and recording a video. It's very awesome. Let me get this blanket out of the shot. Okay, it's in the shot. It doesn't matter, whatever. Anyways, let's talk about pro wrestling this week. I'm going to be completely honest. I wasn't into it this week. Raw started off decent, but it ended kind of lame. It seemed like as the show Raw went on, it got kind of lamer and lamer, and I just wasn't into it. There was a super long match between Seth Rollins and Cesaro. I'm sure it was a good match, but we've seen this a billion times. I'm over the storyline. I understand that we need, and I talked about this, is we need more storylines pertaining to longer feuds and so forth. I thought I saw somebody. Pull back up. Okay, we're good. Anyways. But I know I talked about having longer storylines and stuff like that, but when you have a match that all they continue to do with the feuds is the tag team feud that's going on, they keep just alternating the wrestlers facing in singles matches. Not really something entertaining. What would be more entertaining is that every week one of the tag teams would take on like another tag team, like, for example, like the Club is pretty much babyface right now. So have Cesaro and Sheamus take on the Club, and then Dean and Seth would be at ringside doing something kind of funny, kind of cost, Cesaro and Sheamus the match, things like that. And then same thing happens the other week, where, I don't know, who is a heel tag team on Raw? Besides Cesaro and Sheamus, there's nobody really there. See, maybe the Miztourage would take on Seth and Dean, and, Sheamus and Cesaro cost them the match. Do stuff like that instead of having single matches over and over and over again. That's what we're getting. Kind of boring. As soon as that match happened and I literally think that match was like 25 minutes on Raw. It took a lot of time. And then we have this Jason Jordan announced to face Kane later on. Didn't intrigue me. And I guess Braun, I think, showed up at the end of the show. I don't know. I tuned out before then because the show was just extremely boring this week. Raw was just not boring. And then what happens is with these weeks when Raw is super boring, sometimes I watch SmackDown. But when I hear the main event, it's Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton in an ODQ match, when I know perfectly well that there's no storyline going on between these two, doesn't make me want to watch it. The only reason why I wanted to watch either of the shows this week was because of Ruby Riott group and Paige's group. That is the only thing that intrigued me this week about wrestling. Really nothing happening this week. It was really extremely boring. So Raw, what I pulled away from Raw this week was that The Miz is gone. Hopefully Elias has The Miztourage with him for the meantime until The Miz comes back. I kind of think that would be interesting. I kind of think that would be kind of neat for them have something for them to do while The Miz is gone, and maybe while Miz is gone, maybe kind of plant the seeds for Elias to have him as his Eliatrage or something like that. You could call him. I don't know what they're going to call him. Maybe give him another name while The Miz is gone, and then when Miz returns, then you have that confrontation between Elias and Miz. Even possibly have Elias being the Intercontinental Champion when he comes back. I think that would be interesting. I would love to see that. Elias versus Roman Reigns was a very interesting match. I actually, that's exactly when I stopped watching Raw, because that match, the match was really, really good. I give it to that. The match was really, really good. But I knew that they were not going to give the belt to Elias. Certain things in the match kind of just gave that away, because certain points of the match, Elias should have won. If they were going to drop the belt to Elias, he would have won on those given times. It didn't happen. And he kicked out of us. There was a spear. Elias kicked out of it, but then he hit a move, and Roman kicked out of that. I'm like, well, if he was going to win the title, that would have been the spot, I would assume, right there. So it kind of made me not want to watch anymore. So then I just watched the highlighted version on YouTube. So it kind of made me shut off as soon as that happened. When you book a match like that, and I know Roman just won the IC title, but I think it would have been interesting. For one, this is my whole argument with Roman Reigns becoming an Intercontinental Champion. If they're going to do this, then let him be the Intercontinental Champion for a long time. Let him run with this for like a year and a half, having the IC title. But that's not what they're going to do, and I really hope they've changed their mind about the Roman Brock thing, because I really just don't think it's going to be that big of a selling point when it comes to WrestleMania. I don't think people want to see that. They don't want to see Roman versus Brock. I liked it at WrestleMania. Was it 31? I thought it was a good little match, but they didn't end it. They didn't finish it with just those two. They had to have Seth Rollins interfere and get the belt that way. And I kind of, looking back on it, it was a great moment. But also to look back on it, I kind of wish it would have ended a little better, and maybe Roman would have been a little bit more over than he is now, because that was kind of the downfall right there. Because after that point, when Seth got injured, you just really seen the full force of them wanting to shove Roman down their throats. That being said, if Elias would have won Intercontinental Champion, it would have been a short reign for Reigns. Short reign for Reigns. That's a hard thing to say. But it wouldn't have mattered because it's flipping Roman Reigns. Nobody cares. Roman Reigns is still over. He's still a huge babyface, and everybody knows that they're going to continue to book him super strong. But Elias could have got a clean victory over Roman Reigns. It would have looked strong on Elias's behalf going forward, and he could have got the title. But we didn't see that. Miztourage did a great segment. I don't understand why people were making a big coup about Miztourage doing that bluesy act, because you can tell somebody in the back was doing it while they were doing the harmonica. You can tell that somebody in the back was actually doing the harmonica stuff. Anyways, besides that, Paige and them attacked Mickey and Bailey backstage. They all attacked Sasha. Kind of did the Four Horsemen thing, where you either join us, or you're either with us or you're against us. What was it? And that's kind of an NWO thing. But for what they did to her, it kind of reminded me of a Four Horsemen thing when they tried to get Sting to join the Four Horsemen like a long time ago. But then the way they say it, you're either with us or against us, it sounded just like the NWO, which is really cool. I kind of enjoyed that they kind of threw back to some like Four Horsemen, and also kind of throw back to some NWO at the same time. So Absolution, though, like what? What does that even mean? Like, what is going on? And no, I know I can look it up and figure out what it means, but it doesn't make much sense. I don't like the name, but I guess it'll work. We just need a name for them. I mean, who knows how long they're going to stay together? Probably not very long. WWE doesn't like to keep groups together for a long time, especially like this kind of thing, but who knows? I do like the Riott Squad on SmackDown. I did enjoy that. But besides Raw, there's really nothing else I don't think that happened. Anything else? What was anything else that happened on Raw? Seth won that match against Cesaro, and then Dean was off on his, I guess, honeymoon. Evidently, him and Renee Young, either they got married recently or they just got married and went on their honeymoon. And Sheamus was out of town for something. No idea. Yeah, I think that's about it. Bray wrestled Matt Hardy. There was a reference that Bray mentioned the broken universe, basically. It's mentioned that Matt was broken, and that may be the start of things. But what I heard about that was I don't really like it, because Impact is doing something for the past gimmicks that I guess they've had, is that you're allowed to use the past gimmicks. But I don't know financially what that's going to lead to. Like, they're going to say, okay, you can use them, but, we're going to ask for compensation somehow. I don't know. I haven't really heard much about the compensation part, or if they're just going to say, whatever, use them, because we're moving on, with the future, I don't know what's going on with Anthem with that. I think it's kind of a bad idea. It's kind of like WWE saying, yeah, you can call somebody Stone Cold Steve Austin in another organization, and we're fine with it. That's kind of stupid. So I'm not sure what Impact, Anthem, whatever you want to call them, is doing about that. So Matt Hardy might be using the broken gimmick soon in order. So that'd be kind of cool. I don't know if WWE is going to do anything about it. I don't know. So much potential with the WWE network, and WWE just dropping the ball. It just disappoints me to so much to see they could have so many things going on the WWE universe thing. I mean, it just blows my mind. And to give an example is that Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks are planning on, I don't know if there's any more wrestlers, any other wrestlers involved, but they're planning on having a show. They want to have a big show, I think in 2018 somewhere. And they named a few dates and so forth. But that kind of gives an example of what the WWE could do. They could give an opportunity to someone to say, hey, why don't you go create the show, and we'll give you an opportunity, call it something. And whatever this thing that we start, we'll just have different wrestlers book the show and go. It could be something different, you know. Have Matt Hardy create, you know, a Broken Universe show or something like that, and you know, start something like that to where different wrestlers show up on the program. He books them, and you know, it's just filmed differently. You know, kind of like I guess what Crash. I haven't watched anything of it. I just know of it and the way they filmed it. I guess some kind of Conan's Crash of wrestling that he has. And it's kind of filmed more in a movie kind of perspective kind of thing. Not like Lucha Underground, but kind of like more of a artistic kind of style where the camera moves around a lot, stuff like that. Maybe something like that, something interesting like that. I mean, WWE has a lot of people they could use from Full Sail and stuff like that, where they could lend their efforts to create this show. I think, you know, like I said, they have so much things that they could do with the network, more shows that they could put on there, more content that would draw people in. I think just more stuff that's not wrestling, actual wrestling, to put on the network to get people, you know, drawn in. I think something really they need to start thinking about is the shoot interviews, things like that, that people seem to enjoy on the network. There are so many wrestlers that they could do. They could have talk shows, you know, bring Talk as Jericho to the WWE Network. Bring the Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast to WWE Network. You know, put the censors on it and let people watch that kind of stuff on the network. I think that's interesting. You know, have more cartoon stuff. Have Mick Foley get behind some cartoons that would be created by, animation experts, you know. Things like that. You know, there could be more stuff behind the WWE Network that we have not seen. Other than that, let's also talk about, and SmackDown really didn't have anything either. Shinsuke wasn't on there. I guess we've got a clear thing. I didn't watch SmackDown hardly at all. I watched a few things. Mojo Rawley turned on Zack Ryder, finally. We're getting that. Bobby Roode, I guess, announced that he's going to somehow, or he's heading toward in that direction to try and get a shot at Baron Corbin's title. That's interesting. The New Day looks like they're back in the tag team title hunt. That's cool. I can see a big kind of a match at WrestleMania happening and them letting them just run loose at WrestleMania between New Day and Usos. That would be interesting. I didn't watch the Saw thing with Fashion Files. I didn't get to see that. I'll probably watch it at some point. I'm sure it's pretty kind of funny. But the Riott Squad was on there. I like the name. I think that's cool. They made them look super strong. That's what I'm excited to see that. They put Becky Lynch evidently on the shelf. I don't know if that's going to be to keep her off TV for really kind of a decent amount of time, just to make it real and realistic. And it looks like they supposedly injured Naomi too. Most likely kayfabe, but like I said, are they going to go with it? Or are they going to, is this going to be like a 2-week thing and then bring her back? Because I think more or less they need to have them stay off TV and kind of have Ruby's squad like just run SmackDown and eventually just start getting title shots. And then after they all three go through Charlotte, then these girls come back and stuff. Now maybe Tamina. I haven't seen Tamina, I don't think. Or did they attack Tamina? I thought they attacked Tamina. Maybe not. I haven't seen Tamina. There you go. Yeah, that's about it. Not much happened on SmackDown either. Singh brothers got attacked by Jinder Mahal. I guess they're not together anymore. Stupid. I don't know. They like to ruin anything good. Like they worked all this time on Jinder, and now they're just gonna flush it away. Not much happened on 205 Live, I don't think either. I was looking, I didn't really see anything awesome. You know, NXT looked like it was actually pretty good this week. I might go back and watch it this week. Maybe I probably won't. I'll say that. But the Pete Dunne and Mark Andrews tag team, Pete Dunne and Mark Andrews tag team against Tyler Bate and Trent Seven. I saw the highlights of it. It looked really, really cool. There were some cool spots in there. Somewhere like it looks like Mark Andrews is gonna monkey flip Trent Seven out of the corner, and Pete Dunne tags him, and Mark Andrews is like giving him some angry look, and he's like behind Trent Seven when he's getting ready to monkey flip him, because Trent Seven I think was getting ready to turn into a powerbomb, but before he did it, Pete Dunne did like a backcracker on it while Mark Andrews was still on Trent Seven, so that was a really cool spot. There was also a spot where, oh wait, what was that? Oh no! Oh, I know what happened. There was something like that, but there was also another spot where Mark Andrews was going to do something, another kind of monkey flip kind of thing, and he did it, but he caught, I think, Tyler Bate and did some sit-down powerbomb thing. And did they win? No, they cut the match, so I really don't know who won. But it looked like a really good match. There's some cool spots in there. Tyler Bate is amazing, I tell you right now. They need to get this guy up to the main roster, like, quick. Like, seriously quick. Even just to have amazing matches on SmackDown. They've got to go to 3 hours on SmackDown. They've got to get Tyler Bate on SmackDown. You know, I think Pete Dunne would do well on Raw. Have him in a feud with Finn Balor. Awesome. Tyler Bate, put him in a feud with Dolph Ziggler. I think he could pull some great matches out of Dolph Ziggler. And, you know, the other people, I don't know. Like, I think the UK thing needs to get started, or they need to, you know, really just scrap it and just have them come to the WWE and have, you know, basically turn that title into something else or merge it with the Intercontinental Championship. And then basically just have them all be free agents for a while until they figure out what show wants to give which contract to which wrestler. I think that could be what they go with it. If they act like they don't want to do the UK show, that's what they could do. They can just pull them in and start kind of like, you know, scouting that area and bringing them to NXT. You know, I kind of don't think that a lot of the UK wrestlers, they've had them on TV and they're really good. They're sound wrestlers. They've been on WWE programming quite a bit now. They kind of understand what they can and cannot do. They, you know, it seems like they understand it pretty well, and they do pretty well when they're on TV. So I don't think they need to be NXT to be perfectly honest. They put on tremendous matches every time they're in the ring, and you know, I don't see any reason for them to be in NXT any longer. And if they're not going to do the UK show, they just need to pull them and put them on the main roster and let them have good matches. You know, I think that's what we would like to do. And even if they let them, you know, hey, okay, you can continue to do this, but when we want you to do matches, we'll just call you and just schedule a booking like normal. I don't know, like the future of independent wrestlers working with the WWE is a huge thing, and I think Triple H I think he has a hand in it, in doing that kind of thing for the future of the business. You know, we won't ever see, I don't think, somebody like a Tyler Bate that is still on an independent wrestling contract, though, come in and beat the Intercontinental Champion. It will never happen. So that's the sad thing about the WWE kind of thing, because they want to control that title, and if someone takes that title and just ends up leaving and gets disgruntled and leaves, they won't have that belt anymore. That's kind of, you know, it loses money for them. But, you know, like I said, they continue to kind of use this as a scouting thing for the UK, and, you know, work with ICW, Progress, and all these other people. ICW, Progress, what's another one? I can't remember. But anyway, these different kind of UK, you know, wrestling places, that would be interesting. You know, even working with Defiant, WCPW, I think it'd be a good idea. I think WWE just really needs to, you know, reach out and kind of just let everybody know and work as a system. I think that pro wrestling as a system would work so much better if Vince, Triple H reached out to New Japan, Ring of Honor, Impact Wrestling, NWA Wrestling, and start to create a relationship that, you know, hey, I have this guy, and, you know, like I said, we're not doing anything with him. We don't have anything for him right now. Can we cut a secondary contract with you guys? You know, and let him come wrestle for Impact. You know, let a guy like Goldust go to, you know, Impact and let him wrestle a little bit. You know, let guys like Bo Dallas and Kurt Axel kind of, you know, take a year hiatus from WWE, have them go there until you can come up with something. And if, you know, if you don't come up with anything, you know, you could talk to that wrestler and say, hey, would you like to be, you know, set to an open roster contract or something like that? They come up with something crazy where you're technically still on WWE's roster and you still kind of get paid through the WWE, but you also be wrestling for these independents. Whichever you choose to wrestle, it's up to you. I think that'd be kind of interesting. You know, like I said, if something like that came about, I think it'd be interesting if WWE starts to kind of make an umbrella, like to kind of group all these wrestling together, and kind of a wrestling network kind of begins to happen. And this would also include the WWE network kind of being the wrestling network to go, because I think the thing about the WWE network is that I enjoy every aspect about it, but I think there's just a few options that need to be there for wrestling fans to really buy into. And I think that WWE is missing a huge boat on this, and I think that they're looking into it, because there's been, you know, polls and stuff like that about it. about, hey, would you pay more money to get Ring of Honor in New Japan? I think TNA was on there at the current time when they were still TNA. There's other promotions on there. Like Revolve, and that's the other promotion I was thinking about, Revolve, but that's in America. But Evolve and Rev Pro and things like that. So the thing about that is, I think that'll be interesting because you're talking about all these promotions being available with video content that sell DVDs online. All that stuff can be digitalized by the WWE. Have a huge library that you can basically add these promotions for $5, extra a month. You can add these, delete them, and add ones however you want. Like 1 month, if you want to put Ring of Honor on your programming, and then you want to take it off, you can take it off and put another one on there the next month. But what it should do is every month, if you want to add another promotion to your thing, they would need to make a system in there that says you have to pick and choose, and the next month it would like say you chose Ring of Honor, and on the 15th of the month you decide, I don't want Ring of Honor anymore, I really want New Japan. So New Japan you pick New Japan, and maybe it's like $10 instead of $5 to add network, because there's so much content to add to it. And it would turn around and or say opposite way, but you add it to it, and then Ring of Honor will stay on your account, but on the first of the month, our Ring of Honor will fall off, and New Japan will come on there. So it would be kind of more automated. But I think there's so much money to be made with the WWE Network, and I don't think Vince and Triple H really can click on an idea that would really just make people, because I think that would draw people into the product if they could have more than the WWE. And just the defunct promotions that they've, got under their wing. I think that they had more than that to offer organizations that are still currently going under contract and being a friendship to the WWE, that they would kind of get compensated as well for it. But in the end, it's trying to get as many eyes on the WWE product, and that's what it would be. Also, another thing to think about doing is selling advertising time to, independent wrestling and things like that. But I think there's so much wrestling in the world right now that they could do so much things. Think about this. This is something cool too, is that if you live in Indiana, they know where everybody lives. We have to enter our credit card information. We have to put, where we live and so forth like that. If they had a deal with independent wrestling that for $1 extra a month, you can get all this content from local independents in your area for $1 a month. Think about that. And then basically what would happen would be these independents would probably get let's say a quarter from every single person that is registered to the WWE in their area that agreed to get that extra content. And maybe they could raise it up to the $3, and for every person they get $1. Hell, that's extra money that independent promotion wouldn't necessarily get. That'd be cool. And it would be example is I get WCW in my area. They have shows on Friday nights all the time. Every week they have a Friday show guaranteed in Indianapolis. There's also a show in Columbus, and I think they have one every week as well. I think it may be on a Thursday. So they never counteract with each other, because some wrestlers wrestle for both promotions and so on and so forth in the area. And they do have content that you can watch online. If they could do whole entire shows and put them up on a network, that'd be interesting. If they had a local TV show you could watch for WCWO, and I can't remember what the one in Columbus is called, that'd be interesting. You could go on there, watch your local wrestling that you go and see every once in a while. That'd be kind of neat. Even if the one in Greensburg that we go and see, me and my son, if we didn't have to leave the house and we could just pay to see it, that'd be entertaining. It'd be kind of cool. If, sometime we can't leave the house, or, we just want to watch a little bit of it, we could turn it on and watch it anytime. And plus, more money would go to that promotion. You can even, like I said, $3 I think is a pretty reasonable cost for, I think, local shows. I mean, if you think about it, if there is, let's say there's about 50 people that have the WWE Network in every town. And I'm just talking about Greensburg. If there was 50 people in this town, but in every town around there, at least 20 people have the network, If those people bought that local thing, it was very, very cheap, and you got some cool programming to go. Even if it was $1, that's free money going to these local promotions that get split up all between them. And really, what it would do is, I think, it would kind of, when you start talking about other independents and other promotions being on the network, I think it would be more of kind of like a YouTube kind of thing. What I mean by that is, which promotions are being watched? How many views are you getting? And it would go by views. So, like, if I watch a bunch of Ring of Honor, and I'm not watching New Japan, but I paid for both of them, but I'm only watching, like 1 or 2 New Japan things, and I'm only watching like half of a show, you're not going to get the full, money. So if I'm paying $10 for, let's say I'm paying $5 for New Japan, $5 for Ring of Honor, if I only watch half of the stuff, maybe New Japan only gets like 50 cents per pay-per-view for me, so they'd probably get like $1 for what I watched. So maybe $1 each time a view happens, they would get $1 every time a view goes on their programming, or it'd be like a quarter every time a view is made. That's kind of interesting. I think if they did something like that, like I said, it'd be interesting. Leave your comments down below. What do you think about that? I talked about that in the past, previous videos, but the wrestling was kind of slow this week. Nothing really happening. 205 Live, like I said, I didn't see like anything look awesome. I don't think Hideo Itami debuted yet. Probably going to be a few weeks where he debuts. NXT, Peyton Royce also took on Kairi Sane. That looked like a pretty interesting match. It looked like pretty. I didn't see who won. What is it? Riddick Moss and Tito Sabbatelli took on the Street Profits. That looked like a really good match. It looks like Tito Sabbatelli and Riddick Moss almost got the win this week, but Riddick Moss is stupid and almost cost them the match. So I don't know if they're going to end up splitting up that tag team, and then maybe nothing will happen to those 2 wrestlers and they'll get released or something, because I don't know. I think it was just like a miscommunication thing. But they could almost won the match. It looked pretty cool. I've seen the highlights of that. But anyway, NXT is always like a good conflict to whatever. Usually if Raw and Smackdown sucks, usually NXT is like really good that week. And that seems like that's what it was this week. And I didn't really watch it. Didn't really have a lot of time. A lot of things going on this week. Just trying to get back on my sleep pattern and everything like that. So anyways, this has kind of been a super long video because I talked about different things. Leave your comments down below what you think about wrestling this week. State of wrestling. Pretty much every Tuesday or every Wednesday or Thursday. Yeah, no, every Thursday and Friday is wrestling related videos. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. More content to come. Hope you guys enjoy everything that I'm bringing to you. And see you guys later. Keep rocking. And keep watching wrestling. Almost forgot to add that. Yeah, don't forget that. Keep rocking, guys. Later.